Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com here in New York City at Peter Hurley Studio. Peter, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for coming by.
Hey, thank you for having us. And Adam, thank you for joining us as well.
It's been great.
This was a lot of fun. I keep saying that every week. This is a lot of fun. But I really did enjoy. Why am I sitting like this? What kind of way is this to sit? I'm not quado. My arm isn't backwards. But really, this was a really cool discussion. I know we've had podcasts are different every time we do them, especially with different guests. This was like upbeat, and not saying others are downbeat, but this was a lot of fun to talk about. I like talking about I liked your history.
I'm trying to keep it going, keep it alive and keep it real, and I think people are enjoying the following and seeing what's up next and putting fun stuff out there, like yourself.
Yeah. Yes. So you're gonna hear a bunch of stories about how Peter, why he cut his hair, buzzed his hair.
I cut my hair. Well, now look at the
growing
growth.
back.
I mean, I got great growth. This is I shaved it on August 1st.
Yeah.
So we're talking. That's not that much.
It's not that bad.
It's not bad. It did all right.
It's good.
It did well.
Everybody's like, "What are you doing now?" I don't have any. There are no goals.
You don't have an idea of what you're going to do with your hair next?
I don't have any plans for it. There were all sorts of things when it was long I was going to try and do with him, but that obviously
you're going to hear about.
We'll have to wait a year for that.
Yeah, at least a year. It took
you got to let
2
that hair
years
grow
to
again.
get it back to that kind of mess.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to hear the fun that we had, we went for a pretty long time like we normally do, but we hit a lot of different stuff from what Peter's working on, the different boards. I like what's the board called?
Pro board.
Hurley
I think pro board.
I think I'm walking out of here with a pro board to go home on the train. They're gonna look at me weird, but whatever. I'll do that. So yeah. Oh, he's gonna go get it. So he's gonna get it. You guys can click the link below over here on YouTube to send you over to the website. Thank you. Look at this.
Travels well too. This one was off.
Holy God.
Wow.
Oh my God. Yes. Ari is going to carry this on the
Christmas
way home.
came early.
And there you have it. So, guys, click that link below here on YouTube. Hear about everything we talk about on this week's podcast. There it is. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya. Shebang, Fro Nation. Do I have a special treat for you this week on FroKnowsPhoto RAWtalk? We got the Shebang man himself, Peter Hurley. We went up to his studio in New York City, met up with Adam Lerner, who joined us to sit there in Peter's space and do a podcast. Peter does a lot of talking. He gives out some amazing tips, tells some really, really cool stories, and Adam and I sit there with Ari, recording, listening, and really talking about. He gave me one of those Shebang boards. Actually, he should probably call it a Shebang board. I don't know why he didn't call it a Shebang board. It's that reflector that you can use as a backdrop. I don't know. We'll talk about it during the podcast, but you need to check the thing out. So it's a really cool time because you guys love Peter. I love Peter, and his you know how his portraits are. So you're gonna hear the stories about how he started, how he's continuing on, and all of that good stuff on this week's episode of RAWtalk. So stay tuned for that coming up in just a little. All right, I forgot to say something, so I'm punching into the audio here. I am giving away a Nikon D600 or a Canon 6D, and the winner will be announced after October 31st. It goes in conjunction with the sale that is ending on the beginner guide. That's right, it no longer will be $30 off. It's going to go up to $97. So if you would like to take advantage of the sale, you can do that on FroKnowsPhoto.com. But for more information on how you can win win your choice of a D600 or a 6D, you can click on the banner on the website. You'll see it. You can't miss it. It's going to tell you what you can do. If you haven't signed up for the FroKnowsPhoto email list, you can do that. That's an entry. If you purchase the video guide or you have already done so, that is also an entry into the contest as well. Now back to the bit, but I want to remind you on October 25th, 26th, and 27th, I will be making my way to New York City for the Photo Plus Expo at the Javits Center. But not only that, if you can't come to New York City, you can join us. Literally. How are you going to be able to join us? Well, you can watch us live on FroKnowsPhoto.com/live on October 25th, 26th, and 27th, where I will be live broadcasting from booth 181 with the help of Geekbeat TV star John P. We will be co-hosting together, doing interviews, sniff tests. I'm going to find the booth babes, and we'll give them some sniff tests like we did in Germany. And really, that's what we're going to be doing. So if you can't join us in person, which if you can come in person, there is no cost to come out to the Javits Center. You can join us in the booth and possibly win some free stuff, or just hang out and meet us and all the cool guests that we will be having on. But if you're at home, you're around the world, you can tune in. Check out FroKnowsPhoto.com/live for all of the times that we will be on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And Thursday night at 8 p.m., I'll be having another FroKnowsPhoto meetup party at the Hudson Bar and Grill. For the location, that would be the address. Check out the website. It's FroKnowsPhoto.com/live for all of the information about Photo Plus and the live broadcast. I want to thank Allen's Camera for being the sponsor this week. You can check out allenscamera.com for all of your camera needs, all of your accessories, lenses, new and used. My favorite part of the website is checking out the used section, because that's where you get some really good buys on some good glass, very good glass at a discounted price. Because when it's used, well, there's not much you can do wrong with used glass unless somebody scratched the heck out of it. But other than that, I've bought half of my lenses there, including my 85-1.4, by the way. I love that lens. So yeah, I bought that one used, and I still have it. I still love it. It was clean as can be. A lot of the times, some people trade things in when it's kind of like they never used it. So check it out, allenscamera.com. Thanks to BBO Poker Table. Thank you for hooking me up with one of those bad boys at a discounted price. You guys should check it out and ask them for a fro price if you're looking for a poker table. So let's get into this week's Raw Talk. Oh yeah, one more thing. If you're on YouTube and you'd like to listen to the full podcast, I'm testing it out. I'm going to upload the full podcast to YouTube. For those of you guys who are over there, if you just want to listen to it on there, but you can still check it out on iTunes, download the MP3 on the website, and that's it. Shebang! All right. Yeah, we would do that. I'd totally do that. I'd totally put this podcast anywhere it goes. But, it's lovely to be here in Mr. Peter Hurley's studio. Peter, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having us. And I say us because Adam Lerner is joining us again, because we're in New York City. It's his hometown.
That's right.
He's a fourth-generation New Yorker.
Wow. Indeed I am.
It's kind of like, were you at that movie? That Gangs of New York. Was your family involved in that?
Yeah, we were actually, all of us were in that movie.
You were? 4 generations worth?
All 4 generations.
Anyway, sorry. Peter, we walk in the door today, and we run into this fuzzy-looking dog, huge, brown, shaggy, named Hershey. Whose dog is that?
Hershey is my brother's dog. He's a mainstay here at the Peter Hurley studio. My brother has an office in the back. He was looking for space when I was, so we hooked up together about 4 years ago.
I love that dog. That was an awesome dog.
And the dog has the same hair as you.
Well, yeah, but he was cool, and he's hypoallergenic. So what's new and exciting in your world?
Do a shot of the dog next to you with the hair. I'm a little bit disappointed that I did shave my head. I wanted to see if it could even get close to what's sitting next to me right now, but I had this whole game plan that at Photo Expo I would get him to straighten his hair with me, and we'd walk in with this like didn't they do that on Zoolander or something? It would look
probably
totally cool.
I love Zoolander. Ari's shaking his head over there. I
mean, would you have loved if we straightened our hair together? That would make the show. We would have. I mean,
guess what we would have been? We would have been so Hansel. That's right. What? Everybody's looking at me weird, but no, that's cool. What's new in your world?
Oh man, a lot of traveling, a lot of running around.
Where
I'm working on. I'm going to LA. I've got a warehouse out there for the Hurley Pro stuff, so I'm working on a new set of lights, which I showed you some prototype stuff.
He blinded us by the light. No, Ari, I went with not science, but blinded us by the light.
I was wrapped up like a deuce.
I never knew that was deuce.
It's deuce.
I always thought he was like wrapped up like a douche in the middle of the night.
Well, when you were a little kid, you thought you were getting away with something saying that.
But. I guess. Anyway, so you blinded us by these. What can you say about what you're developing here?
Nothing. It's no secret. I'm just trying to. I'm not going to plug it in again. I'm trying to develop lights that just do things that after working in the studio for so long, you find the little things that bug you about things that you use. And I love Kino Flows. I've been shooting them for years, but there's things that they don't do that I want them to do, and I want to make something that does that. and it's nice to just be able to have control over that. And I have a good team behind me, and we're going to develop a really cool fixture around it. It's going to be an awesome, ridiculously awesome set of lights. And mostly, like I travel a lot, and the biggest problem is getting Kino flows around anywhere. It's not easy. So I'm trying to develop something lighter, more portable, but to give me the same output and have some more bells and whistles.
Oh, that's cool. What's cool is to actually come in here and see you have to plug wires in to make the thing work, because it actually means you are doing something. You're not just sending it out and saying, hey, make this. You're hands-on with it.
Yeah, I wanted to be in the whole process. And, I mean, it's more the quality of the light is really important, and the way it falls on the skin. So for me to be going back and forth on this, I mean, I'm shipping lights all over the place to try and make this happen, and it's a slow process. And everybody asked me, when are these lights coming out? And I'm like, oh my gosh. It took me a ridiculously long time to get Pro Board out. I mean, I think I announced it in January, and we started shipping in May. So, if I'm announcing Hurley Pro lights now, I'm saying, and it's not just a board that I got to throw in a box. This is a serious operation. So I'm hoping that they're out obviously as soon as possible in 2013 sometime. But I'm not making any promises.
But the last promise you made was to shave your head, right?
I did. That's right. I did, and it worked. Did you see? Did you catch a glimpse of that?
You're I loved your long, luscious, flowing hair before. But I mean, I have to say, when you shaved your head, whoa!
It was pretty. Hey, you know what? The day will come. Will the day ever come?
Yeah.
Will the day ever come for him to shave his head?
He had the shaved head thing.
The
problem is if Jared shaves his head, he also shaves like a decade off of himself.
5 years. Right now,
he'll look like
12.
a little young whippersnapper.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then I have to shave the beard, and because Ari's always told me that I can't have all this hair without a beard, because then my face would be like lopsided or something. I've always told you. Ari's told me something like you have to keep facial hair, or your hair would be like totally the wrong way.
Or you'd have to have like big, like mutton chop sideburns.
It would just be hard for me. It's FroKnowsPhoto is the fro.
Yes.
If the head gets shaved, there will have to be some sort of, you would have to take it, make it into a wig, and plop it on and off at a moment's notice.
That was part of an idea well at the beginning, was to think of that. The only thing that would probably do it, and I don't even know that, I'm not prepared to do it now, but if I did raise I don't even think $1 million is enough to raise for some kind of charity.
Yeah, it would be
I think it's going to be like
that.
$10 million.
Yeah.
Come on, $10 million.
For me, it was selling 50 Pro boards.
That's
for
not
you,
enough.
it's 10 million.
So you're kind of like a cheap date.
You set that bar a little low, Peter. You need to set that bar a little higher than 50 boards.
50 boards in 2 weeks. I thought that was pretty good.
Well, but you should know you've got power.
I was excited. The little known fact was that I was prepared for this mentally. I wasn't like freaking out that I wasn't going to have any hair. I was like, it would be a fun thing to do, and people would get a kick out of it. And if I did happen to sell 50 boards, that was a bonus. So
how many did you end up moving? I mean, you don't have to say that.
50.
You moved the 50 in the 2
weeks? Yeah, it was
weeks?
the site went down one day, so I said I'm adding an extra day, and on the extra day we sold the 50. We were up at like 44 or something. We sold 6
I
that
haven't
extra
gotten
day.
a board yet.
I know. I got to give you a board.
You want
to take one with you?
Can I carry it? Is it in a small
it's
carry
right
bag?
there.
Well, why not? Might as well. I mean, if we're traveling on a train late, I might as well do it. I'll do it.
Take it with you. Yeah, I'd love to see you use it.
Well, because you know what it reminds me of, and don't take this the wrong way. Remember those infomercials where you could buy that slidey thing? It looked like a hockey thing, and you would just put on these special socks, and you would sway from one side to the other, and you would slide.
Oh, wow.
Do you remember that? What's
Ashley?
Ashley, do you remember that? No? Oh, she had wood floor, so she did that. It was, I don't know, it was those info
I think I remember this thing. It was
Was this like an exercise deal?
It was an exercise deal.
Were there special socks?
Special socks, and then you had these things at the end, and then, I mean, your board is bigger and more beautiful. You know,
That's what all the ladies say.
So the coating it comes with, I didn't.
It's shiny.
I shoot it with the coating on it.
Yeah, but you're losing like a stop.
I know. I could take it off.
There.
Yeah, I know. You know what?
It is more
So here,
spectacular
tell
without the
me
coating.
Like the curve.
Tell me about the
is
curve.
awesome.
I use it as a back. So I use it as a backdrop. I use it on the floor. I do 2 different things with it because I shorten my footprint when I go on the road.
Yeah.
So I put the curve up and it gives me a kicker off both sides when I hit it with light. So I like it a lot. And I like the fact that I don't have to, if I'm carrying that with me, it's a lot easier than a 9-foot roll of paper.
Absolutely.
Oh, and if you're just doing headshots, that's perfect.
Yeah.
You can do it vertical and horizontal.
Yeah, I could throw it vertical. Yeah.
Now, is it also, and it's black on the other side?
Yeah, it's black on the other side.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You should, when does the extra green one, the green one come out for
green
screen?
No, people ask me to do colors and clear ones and stuff like that. I'm liking, I don't know about green.
So you like black and white?
I like black and white. I
Keep
can
it
use
simple.
black and white. Yeah, exactly. And the first prototype, which is laying around here, I think it's in one of those bags. It was white on both sides.
No.
And I could never tell. Well, first of all, I used the black side, but I could never tell which side was the good side. I was like, I should keep one side pristine and lay it on the other side. So then I was like, no, let's go black and white.
No,
why do you have it on the floor?
Because it creates the reflection. I like it. It creates that little reflection on the white.
A little bit of fill.
Going all white. Well, it creates a, the foot. When you put somebody's foot down, you could see their leg and the reflection that it creates.
So full body stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So
full body stuff.
It's
I
basically
do
like
do
iTunes.
on occasion. I turn the camera vertically.
Whoa.
Wait,
and I move
I thought
back.
it was square.
I move back. No, mine's not. No.
You don't have a square camera?
No.
Oh, all right.
No, but people have said that I don't ever shoot vertically. I always shoot horizontal. And on occasion, the camera does tilt. I have the ability to do that. I have a PO ball head on top of there. It's got a little groove in it, so I can do that.
That's groovy.
And it does happen.
Nice.
I've been known to do that every once in a while.
Well, that's
so
cool.
when I do that, I move back, and then I get head to toe, and I get a little nice reflection in the floor.
I'm going to have to do a
And
5-minute portrait and a sniff test.
Oh, boy. There we go.
We're going to do it.
5-minute portrait and a sniff test.
We'll come up with something.
I love it.
We'll come up with something. You got something, Ed? I was going to say something. Like you walk in here, I want to just hit up on some of your past. I'd love to know how you you were a model?
I was a model. I used to get paid for the way I look.
Well, I would pay you for the way you look right now. I mean, geez.
Yeah, you look
pretty
pretty
good.
good.
At you. What are
I
you,
don't know
23?
about that. I don't know about that. No,
Well-
I don't know how I pulled it off then. I definitely can't pull it off
How
now.
did it happen? How did it happen?
Oh my goodness! The woman who was just here that
Yeah.
was sitting on the couch. She met me. That's funny. We should have had her in. She met me down. I was training for the Olympics. I was sailing, and her
That's right.
brother-in-law was my neighbor. And she's like, "I'm a designer. I think you should, have you ever modeled?" I was like, "No." She goes, "I have a friend who's a photographer. Let's take some pictures." Took some pictures. I end up getting sponsored. She works for Donna Karen. I get sponsored by DKNY for the Olympics. So they're sponsoring me. So I got DKNY clothes up the wazoo. I got it all over my sail, everything. She sends me over to Ralph Lauren, and they're like, "We need sailors for this new ad campaign. Bruce Weber's shooting it, and you're going to Miami, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "No, I got a training camp. I can't go. You're offering me, like, no money for it." And I was like, "I can't do it." I was like, I couldn't believe. Like, now I can't believe I said no. Anyway, they call me
So you
back
could've
like
been that
2
guy.
weeks later, and they're like, "We got your plane ticket." And I was like, "I said no. What do you mean?" And they were like, "Oh, well, you said no to that rate, but they paid me 6 times what they had originally told me they were going to pay me." I was like, "Oh, I'll go. Yeah, I know I'm going to go."
That sounds good.
I had a shot come out worldwide of me sailing, and Bruce took it, and Bruce and I became friends, and he just kept bugging me to pick up a camera, and I don't know why, and I finally listened to him, and here I am.
So there was no impetus for it. You didn't. He just said you should be behind the camera.
Yeah, and I don't know if he tells. I was like, do you
Well, he
tell
obviously
everybody
loves what he
that?
does because he's encouraging people to do it.
Yeah, he does. Oh, he
Yeah, because
loves
we're
it.
very
Yeah.
competitive. Like a lot of people are very competitive and aren't going to tell you to pick up a camera.
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time. But that's
Wow,
cool.
I mean, Bruce is like
Because he's probably
animal.
thinking
I mean,
like, I'm a great photographer. You're good looking, but I'm still going to be a great photographer.
I don't know, but I mean, I said, why'd you tell, years
Right.
after I became successful, and I really thanked him. I was like, you don't understand. Like, what would I be doing? I was a model, actor, bartender dude. What was I going to do? Be bartending till 4 a.m. every night till I'm 40 something, whatever. I was like, I just feel lucky that I picked it up. And he's like, "Oh, Peter, I just thought you'd take pictures of yourself."
That's cool. That's cool.
So I was like, I got a kick out of that.
So how many years has it been?
That was in 2000. I picked up my first camera.
That's a while at this point.
Yeah.
So how we walk into your studio, you see a bunch of books. You got some Avedon books out there, but you have the pictures on the wall. A lot of them are from Hawaii. How'd that gig come about? The Lost gig.
I got one of my best clients is a foundation on the Upper East Side, and I've been shooting stuff for them for pretty much my whole career. And the executive director of the foundation called me and he said, look, I got this, I'm not going to promise you anything, but I got this pretty killer job. Can you, at a moment's notice, go to Hawaii? And I was like, I could at a moment's notice. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whatever you. Now, it turns out, this is the worst part about it. Yes, I said, at a moment's notice, I will go to Hawaii. When they booked me for that job, I booked the 2 biggest jobs of my career, or of that year. Probably not of my career. I had some bigger ones. But of that year, were in the same week.
Wow.
4 days apart. And when I was in Hawaii, the cast and crew of Lost that I was shooting, they had some cast members that couldn't make it when I was there, and they're like, you got to stay. And the foundation was like, can you stay a couple extra days? In Hawaii, they flew me out first class. We're staying in, in a ridiculous hotel. And I'm like, as a matter of fact, I can't because I have to be back in New York to shoot an author. So
private jet you back.
Unbelievable. No,
I mean, had ABC pay for that.
First class. But it was, but, you know, I mean, I was just, it was crazy.
It's amazing
it's like
how that
most of the
out.
time when you're a photographer, you're like, damn, you know, I hope I can
Yeah.
shoot one big job this week. And then next week, if I get another job, I'm psyched. I mean, with my headshot business, I'm shooting every day because that's the business model that I set up for myself. But when these big jobs come in, you know, you want 1, 2, 3, or 4 a month if you can pull them off.
Right.
Absolutely.
And to have them come in within the same, like 4 days, I was like 3 days in Hawaii, and I flew back here on the 4th day and shot. It was crazy. I mean, it was like, and I was so bummed. I was happy at the time, but then I was kind of bummed because I was like, why could that author not have flown out the following week or a day later or 2 days later? But
You
anyway,
take it as it comes in this industry,
that's the
right?
way the business
Yeah.
goes. That's the way you got to be flexible. I just have I was talking about this with Ashley. My schedule for October is pretty nuts, and I have 2 jobs where I have to be flying to different parts of the country. And I was just on the phone with an art director trying to figure out like dates, and I'm trying to make her think like I'm flexible, I can do anything. While meanwhile, Ashley and I are looking at each other like, how the heck are we going to pull this off if we get this job? So
Yeah. So you've got the intensives coming up?
I have an intensive in LA this weekend. I have one. I piggyback one on to PPE because I thought people be in town for Photo Plus, and I was like, you know what? Let's do a intensive the Sunday and Monday afterwards, and on Saturday I'm going to cruise around and bring a slew of people by your booth.
Oh, they're going to 181?
Yeah,
Booth
181, booth 181, and I'll be there Friday because I'm going to hang out with you a little bit
Is
on
that
Friday. That's the plan.
That's what they planned on
That's
doing?
what they put me
you in there?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So which is good. But you're going to come here I'm having a party
Friday night. Yeah,
9
we've
p.m.
scheduled. I have a party
You're
Thursday night.
Okay, good.
Then you have one Friday night.
Yes.
I like to party.
Are you having a party Thursday night? You didn't invite me? Am I invited?
I haven't picked the location yet, but you're absolutely
All right,
invited.
Good. We'll be way by the time Saturday rolls around, we're going to be really hungover.
I won't be.
No.
No, I'm not drinking.
All right.
I mean, like
Yeah,
if
no,
I have a
you
drink,
can't.
it's
You're
going to be
working.
1 or 2 at
Yeah.
the most because we've got, I got to talk a lot.
You got too much going
that
on.
library. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
pretty.
You could
pretty
be good. I got to be good because I got to teach an intensive on Sunday.
But you usually do that drunk too, right?
On occasion, usually, well, they go past midnight typically on the first night, so usually there will be some alcohol involved towards the end of the evening, and that's when I'm shooting the photographer. So that's always the most fun.
That works the best.
Yeah.
Drunk
Yeah.
Speaking of drunk, now you know I'm not a big drinker. But there was an occasion.
I couldn't imagine if he was.
Oh,
not
yeah,
be-
no,
yeah.
I don't like it. Ari saw like New Year's one year. I threw up at his house. That was Jack Daniels thing. That wasn't too good. But more recently, I was at a concert. We were at an Illinois show. Ari knows them, and they had a bottle of Jack. And I don't know if I wasn't driving. That's right, because I lived in the city, so I took a taxi. Usually I'm driving, so that's why I drink, because I don't want to drink
good.
and
Good
drive
for
at
you.
all.
Good
At
for
all.
you.
So I was like, all right, and I did like a couple shots of the Jack before the show, and this is the first time I've ever shot drunk. And I was wobbly shooting on stage, and I'm like, this is, I guess, why you don't shoot drunk. And everything was still in focus and all that, but have you ever shot drunk, Adam?
Probably, but I don't ever make a habit of it. I don't have a specific example to
It was just
recall.
weird.
No, I don't shoot drunk.
I wouldn't take a professional job. You know what? Actually, yes. I've done some jobs for Spin the Bottle, the network that's over here. They're right around the corner from here. And they're like these parties where like things get a little
Do you
bit
spin
wild.
the bottle?
So as like the night goes on, you might have a few drinks. So that would be the exception to the rule. And then you kind of are more in tune with what's happening, all the performance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just know that from being on tour with bands and how much they drink and how much I don't drink on the road, because you're there to do a job type thing. For jobs, for me, it's like I don't drink. I'm not doing the drugs. I'm not doing whatever they're doing because you have to.
There are
capture the
those
moment.
times, though, when the client shows up and they're a little out there, and you just have to kind of deal. I'm sure you've dealt with this more times than.
Well, you know what's funny? In here, a lot of people come in and they'll ask.
Oh, they
can
wanna
I
loosen
bring
up.
alcohol with me?
Right.
Can I drink prior to the shoot? And I'm always my big answer is, look, I'm your alcohol. Don't even think about it. I'm going to whip you right into shape. You're not even going to be thinking about what's going on in front of the camera. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
But some people are adamant, and I'm like, look, I'm not going to tell them no. But then usually they're fine. They'd have a drink. It loosens them up. But then if they're real drinkers, they're drinking over the course of a 3-hour session. By the end, they're stumbling out of here, and I can't even get a shot because they're like,
Yeah.
they just look. They don't look sharp at that point.
Right.
So it's been kind of a mess at times when that happens. So I'm really kind of if you're hiring me, the only reason you need alcohol is because you have some anxiety about this. That's my job to take care of that for you. You don't need to be freaked out about this. You're hiring me to do.
And you do have some interesting methods for doing that. Can you throw any of them at us? What would you do? You're shooting me right now.
Yeah.
What are you going to say to me to get me to loosen up?
It would be the hair. I'd have to sort the hair out first. How are we going to do that?
Well, you don't have all day, so you've only got like an hour.
I mean, I got a busy schedule.
How would I loosen you up? You got a busy schedule? I don't know. It's actually very intuitive. Now that we bring it up, you feel like, for instance, when you do a corporate job, like these guys, they don't want to be in front of the camera anyway. They're like, this guy. I had a guy yesterday, and he's like, I got to get out of here. Like, I started this job 2 days ago. I got a lot of work to do, and I don't even want to be here, let alone, have you. So immediately you have to throw them a curveball and realize that there's a human element to it. So I just started, chatting the guy up a little bit and having some fun with him. But then I was like, I'm pretty confident when I get people in here, if they're coming in for a headshot, I'm like, look, you're in the space where it gets done. I mean, this is where, I'm considered one of the best in the world at this, so you're going to be in good hands. And it like shut him up for a second, and I started shooting them, and I was like, and they come up on the screen because I'm shooting into focus software, and all of a sudden the guy goes, that's the best picture I've ever taken of me in my life. He's like, oh my God,
it's amazing.
And he's like, we're done. He's like, I'm good. I'm like so like shocked that this just happened. Basically is the way he walked in. And it's fulfilling for me. It's really cool, but it doesn't happen unless you have their brain with you. Yeah. Like he had to. I think me telling him, "Look, I'm not playing. I mean, your company hired me to shoot all their executives for a reason. Get in there and this is what you do. I've shot everybody who's probably hired you and above you, so just get in there and do your thing." He was a bigwig anyway, which was nice, but I made him feel like that too. I was like, hey, we got to make you look good. You can't look, and it's you got to feed off what they're giving you, and kind of play into that. But it's a different challenge every day, and some people are totally cool, and some people are not. The one guy this morning, he was totally freaked out by the camera. I just yelled at him the whole time, and pretty much what I got out of him, didn't I? Did I yell at him?
You scared him into the shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, I hammered him. I just took it right to him.
I think
I'm like,
that's
look, that's not going to fly.
Yeah, that's huge. And I think that when the client can see the images coming onto the screen and they realize, wait a second, I look really good. The lighting is nice. I like that. The confidence is because that's the thing. You want to instill the confidence in that. You've got the confidence that you're going to get a great shot, but they don't feel confident about the way they look because they're not people that get photographed regularly.
Well, and that's one of the things to tell everybody at home is on a portrait shoot, you may not have a big computer with you, but you can show people the back of the screen. I do that really quick after a couple shots, just like, oh, not nice, look what we got, and then I show them, and they're like, Wow. And even on a 3-inch screen, it doesn't matter. You show them something that is good. You know you're going to tweak it later. You know you're going to make it even better.
The thing that's helpful on a 3-inch screen is that everybody looks good.
Yeah,
because you're so small. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, I can barely see that, but I guess I look pretty good. You know?
But it loosens them up.
Yeah,
you know, you do what you can, even if you know.
Don't show them if the lighting's... If you suck at lighting, do not show them in.
Well, let me ask you, you know, you what is the key to your style? Like, how'd you form your style? Because you have a certain way of shooting. I've watched you shoot. I've seen your DVD. Very good, by the way. And you know, you have a way of doing things. You have your lighting. You have your style. Where did it come from? Did it just happen?
I mean, it was a process. It's like, you know, I think every photographer goes through it and tries to figure out what their style is or what they like. It's essentially what you like, and then how do you match what you like with what the look that you get in your pictures. I mean, it's out there, but you don't know how to get to it. I didn't know how to get to it. I just knew what I liked. If I looked through magazines or looked at other photographers' work that I liked, and I don't know if trying to copy it really helps, but at least you can go down that path.
Yeah.
You know, I always say this about when I raced sailboats, I was like ranked 30th in the world, in the country when I started training for the Olympics, and you have to be number 1 to go to the Olympics. So everybody was like, "You're 30th in the U.S. Why are you doing this?" I was like, "Well, I want to give it a shot."
Yeah.
And I watched the number 1 guy in the world, and I watched him when he went downwind and how he went upwind and how he sailed and everything. And I was like, well, and then there was this Canadian guy, and I watched him, and he was really good. And I would start watching these guys. I was like, let me just try to do what they do. And I started to get better and better and better. And I went from being 30th in the country to 17th in the world. And then I developed my own style, and
Absolutely.
my speed started to come into it on my own. And then I figured it out for my own. So I always tell people, I mean, people copy me left, right, center, upside down, backwards, and go nuts. Yeah, they try to. I mean, everybody's talking about, like, they you know, agents in New York are like, oh my gosh, if we see one more Peter Hurley copy, but they know it's a copy. It's like, you know, are you going to go to Gucci and buy a bag, or are you going to go to Canal Street and buy the Gucci bag? I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it. But you know what? I worked hard to be able to say that, yes, if it's a white background, I can see the difference between my work and somebody else's work, whether they have Kino Flows or a Hasselblad or whatever. It doesn't. It's the vibe that you get through the image.
Oh, yeah.
But that came from just trial and error and not knowing what the heck I was looking for, just keying in on what I liked and doing little fine-tuning tweaks. I think the difference between good photographers and great photographers is such a it's the smallest little tiny details that make the huge difference. And it's the style. When an art director hires somebody, I got called today because of my style. You know, they called me out of the blue, and they were like, "We found you, and we love your style, and we want you to do this thing." And it's for Lincoln. They're doing a new ad campaign for the car, so which hopefully I'm going to bid for, and we'll see if I get it. But that came because they look at my work and they see my style, and they want that style to come across in what they're doing. And I think that the photographers who are the commercial photographers with the agents that do the best work are working all the time. Their work is like this much better than mine because I don't have an agent. Maybe I'll get an agent down the road, or maybe I'm going different. But it's this much better and that little tiny difference, which I'm going to find because I'm working on it. Adam, you're working on it. I know we're both searching, finding how to get this much better. But it's those baby steps that all of a sudden your image, you go, wow, that's huge. It's huge.
Yep.
So the people who are just starting out, whose image is the tone's off or the contrast's off or the color's off, once they get that, all of a sudden their tone, contrast, and color comes together, and you go, wow, that's pretty good. And then they start to work with the person in a portrait, and they get the person, and then they make their work, everything they shoot consistent, and they're doing these baby steps. And then they're going, wait a minute, I like this saturation of my images. And I like really shooting it with one light. I like a lot of shadow. Or I'm going to do a ring flash for my all the work that I do, or something like that. Like if they do something that makes them feel something, they can go that direction. But they don't have to know what it is right off the bat. I think a lot of photographers get tied up in, well, I need to know now. I didn't know now. Right. I had no idea. I just knew I like a white background. You know, obviously, I like Richard Avedon's work. I thought he always did the most amazing portraits. I think he's one of the most amazing portrait photographer probably ever. And he shot a white background. It was good enough for him. I figure it's good enough for me, you know. And then my style of the headshot came into play because it was I was trying to live in New York, make money in New York, and headshots here are a big deal. So, it created a living for me, and, it's been great, but I didn't know back then what it would be. When I started shooting guys, when I modeled, I was like the all-American, like boy next door guy. Like I did a lot of commercial work. Like I wouldn't be the guy walking down the I never did any runway shows. I'm not weird. I'm not tall and lanky and skinny. I was ripped up, but I wasn't like, I just wasn't the type of guy that would walk down a runway. I wasn't fashion looking. I was like commercial. I was the guy, like the smiley guy, like the normal average looking all-American guy, and I wanted to be that edgy guy. They never shot me with shadowed lighting or anything. So when I started doing headshots, I was like, I want guys to look cool and edgy. So I was just going for what I wanted as a model that I didn't get, and that's how my lighting for guys started to come into play. So I started to, and then with the women, it was beauty light. So it was blast them with as much light as possible. With the guys, it was like fiddle with the light. So you get so you crank that jawline, get a little kick on it, that kind of thing. Anyway, that's basically where it started.
Well, yeah, you look at style. And I think what you hit on there is you looked at people's work, and you started to formulate what would work best for you. We're not saying go out there and copy other people's work. Take a look at everybody's work out there, see what you like, see what you don't like, and find your own style, find your own way in the world to see what works best for you. And I think we all have done that. I started off with shooting hockey, and I would look at Bruce Bennett, who was the NHL photographer, and he would shoot all of these photos. I'm like, I want to have that white lens, so I happened to be a Canon. Didn't ever end up with that white lens because I went Nikon. But, I started to see the work they were doing. I'm like, I want to try to do that. And then I started to formulate my own style for that. And I'm sure it's the same for you, Ad.
Absolutely. I mean, I know that I'm on a continuous exploration, and I'm always looking at other people's work, anybody's work. If I see something that's like really uniquely special, I'll take a little piece of that. Just like you were looking at your competition, I'll look at other people's work, from professionals to just stuff that I find out there online, and I'll think, that's a really cool thing. Let me try that. Let me see how that'll work for me. And as it progresses, then, it kind of comes out. And like, where I'm kind of at with my lighting right now is pretty cool, but I don't think I'm there yet. And that's part of what I love about it, is that there's not a there yet. For me, if it were to plateau, I would lose interest in it. Yeah. The fact that it's a continuous challenge and that I'm always pushing myself, those little increments,
they're there.
And I love doing it enough that I have the patience to say, as long as it takes.
Yeah.
Meaning that over the course of my career, I'm just going to keep pursuing it.
Yeah. I don't think we're ever there yet.
Right.
Whenever I was hanging out with Bruce, he was always like, yeah, I took some pictures today. They weren't very good. I was like, he's nuts. They're awesome. He only felt as good as the last picture he took. I kind of feel that way.
I agree completely.
And he was so tough on himself. Meanwhile, he's producing the most brilliant work, that I loved it. I still love his work. I think it's amazing. But I don't think we're ever there. I think, what helped me a lot is I shot headshots for so long. And, with everything, it gets a little stale. You do it for long enough. Another actor comes in today. When I started teaching, I became more aware of what I was doing, and now when I'm shooting, it's so much more stimulating because now I'm trying to figure out what's going on in front of me that I can teach. I'm like, wait, I just got so over the past year since I did the DVD and we filmed that in January 2011, and I started my first workshop in May of 2011. Over the past year and a half, I'm a better photographer because of the teaching.
Sure. I think the same is true for me. Cool. Since we've been doing these boot camps, it makes you think about things more. It makes you pay more attention to what you're doing and how you're doing it. And again, it's incremental. It's little things that you impart to yourself.
And I think a lot of it is we forget where we started.
Yep.
Because when we do the beginner boot camps, what do we call them? We just call them boot camps. When you take it back to the very basics, it's so hard to remember back. I was 13 years old. That's 18 years ago, right? 19, 20, 31? Yeah, 31. 18 years ago when I started shooting. What? Yeah, no, it's true. I was 13.
Such a whippersnapper.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but I don't remember what it was like to learn back then. So you have to try to challenge yourself to go all the way back to the beginning to say, oh, you got to start back early. You got to figure out what you did and how it's going to help the next person. And that's what I like about those things and teaching them.
Yep.
Yeah. What else is on the list for you? Anything coming up that's really exciting you?
Well, I'm starting 2013. I'm going international. You already are all
Beat
over
you
the
to
place,
London.
So I'm thinking. So yeah, you.
Hey,
beat
but
me to
you got
London,
that
so I'm
studio.
gonna- yeah. Well, I have to work on that. I don't have the studio yet.
Well, I sent you that perfect studio in London.
Did you send it to me?
I emailed you. I told you it was Iris Studio. Check it out.
All right, I got to check out the email you sent me. Was I not paying attention? All right, I'll look back at it. You went into it. You liked it. You thought it was cool.
We
It's
booked
amazing.
it. We used it.
You did.
For what you're doing. Yeah, we loved it because it's. I mean, huge psych wall. What's not?
Yeah.
It is a psych wall,
Psych
but
wall.
it's huge. It's all poured concrete. It's smooth.
It's very kind of
awesome.
like Zen garden, very minimalist, and
cool.
the space is really beautiful. I mean, the thing that's so nice about it is that because of its simplicity, whatever you bring, it's all about whatever you bring. You know what I mean? And the space lends itself to a million different things.
All right.
All the lights have, electric shades, and I mean, all the windows, and
Cool.
it's pretty, and it's in an amazing location. Anyway,
Wow, awesome. I mean,
Very posh.
I'm just starting to look into it, but I'm going to go there. I'm just setting up my schedule for 2013. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do. I got asked to go to Golf Plus Expo.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Are you guys going?
I haven't been asked.
Okay. Well, I thought that was exciting. So
Yeah.
I'm just starting to figure out what I'm going to teach there because it's a long one. I think it's like, it's like
7
a week.
days of teaching?
Yeah. It's like,
and did
it's
they give
heavy
you a Bentley for going, right?
Yeah. pretty
Yes,
They
much.
have just like a whole.
You didn't just say Bentley.
They have a
did
whole
you?
lot of Bentleys that they're not using.
Yeah, it's just I get to use the Bentley on my day off.
Right.
I love Bentleys.
There's no
No,
money
but
in there. In that
yeah,
place.
No, none.
Isn't there like an
None-
indoor
none at
ski
all.
resort
I
where they
think
make
so.
snow?
Yeah. It's
Have you heard about
pretty
this?
Of course.
incredible. I just shot a girl who she has a place there, so she's back between New York and Dubai, and she's like, film me. I'll just tell you all the restaurants. I'll tell you where to go. You got to get in touch with me when you go. And that was today. I just shot her right before you guys came in.
Oh, sweet.
Before,
I missed it.
You missed it. So I'm
Could've been
excited
magic.
about that. That's pretty exciting stuff. So, and I just last week filmed a Kelby training video. So that should be coming out in a couple months, and that's pretty exciting. And then the F-Stoppers guys and have another round up our sleeve probably to do a little more in-depth stuff and a little bit higher level stuff than what I had in my DVD. And I've also been asked to do some writing book stuff. So we'll see.
Book stuff.
We'll see where that goes.
I've
But,
warned
you.
you.
Know, yeah.
We had a nice long discussion on that one.
Yeah.
Off
see.
air.
I mean, I'm so, twist and turn. The one thing with all of this happening, like I said, I feel like a better photographer from it. When I started teaching, I thought, I said the one thing that I want to do, I want to up everybody's game in the world of headshot photography. So I started this PH2 Pro site. So I have associate photographers that I have people all over the world that are on it, and my job is to try and get them up to speed so that if somebody on planet Earth is looking for a headshot, I want them to go to a PH2 Pro photographer. So that's where a lot of my focus is. It's ph2pro.com, and people can sign up for a free account, and then they can upgrade into the coaching portion of it. And that I'm building out, and those people I'm trying to give blood for to make sure that they're psyched and that they are always have a piece of the action. And I'm trying to see what content I can add, and we're working on my web designers developing some different stuff for me to coach through that. So that's really one of my focuses, and then all this other stuff. But my point was, I said with all this going on, I don't ever want to stop shooting.
No.
I'm a
Right.
photographer. If I'm not shooting and just teaching, I don't think that keeps me sharp. And I mean, I love that I'm giving out hopefully wonderful information. I don't
Sure.
think anybody really teaches the stuff that I did for Kelby was on making faces. It's to me, it's why expressions are vital in portraiture. It's like it is the icing on the cake for me.
Well, it changes
It's
the
all-
dynamic of an image.
It's all about expression. So I just posted a shot on PH2 Pro today of a guy. Before I directed him, I basically did the same shot after I directed him, and the two shots next to each other. It's so obvious. For me, that's why I always, in my Twitter handle thing, is 90% therapist, 10% photographer. Once that person gets in front of my camera, there is no photography going on. I'd done the photography for 10 years. That's done.
Yeah.
It's all direction.
Lower
And
your
it's all-
clavicle.
whatever it takes. Yes.
Jump up and down.
Sure.
Do whatever you need to do.
Pivot, rotate, twist, and bend simultaneously. Whatever it takes.
That does sound like fun. I could see that one happening. So you have it looks like you got a Hassie back there, right?
Yeah.
You did with f-stoppers. You did you brought in the red camera.
Yes.
And you did a side-by-side test, shooting them raw. What'd you find with that?
The red was, I think that camera's beautiful. I thought it was amazing. I love shooting it. The thing about it, well, all photographers wonder this. Are we going to have cameras that just do video and then we just pull stills? Right. Is that what's going to happen in 20 years? And then we just never have a still camera again? Well, I wonder, well, how do you do a strobe? You just blow strobes off or whatever? How do you light with strobe? You wouldn't light with strobes anymore? I mean, how would that work? But for this, I shoot Kinos, so constant lighting. It's Jessica from B&H calling me. Constant lighting, we love her, the bruiser. A little shout out. Anyway, but constant lighting, you can do it. I'm shooting Kinos. I got the same light. I couldn't shoot. I shot a gray background. I just let the fall off light the white, so it went gray. So in those shots, in that test we did, I just did the gray background because we weren't blowing the strobe. But, the direction was totally weird. It was wild. I enjoyed it, but it was challenging. I was like, I shot 7 minutes and I've got 337,000 still images or something retarded.
And they're all
I don't
raw.
know what it was. Yeah.
That's insane.
It was crazy. I don't know.
I sat back to watch that video and it was just insane watching, you shoot one way where you do stills and you're taking 20, 30, 40 shots. Then you let the camera roll and you're still directing. It's like you're a movie director telling them what to do. And then you sat here frame by frame looking for that perfect smirk. And when you did print them out, could you tell the difference between the two?
Probably not. I mean, I could maybe, but I actually liked the red, the quality of the red camera. I could tell that the Hasselblad, the color was a little more saturated, and maybe there was a little bit more dynamic range or something in there because in the colors. But yeah. I liked the feel and I liked the color a lot out of the red. I thought it was awesome. I would totally. It's like an $80,000 setup that I had that I was working with that day. Who's going to buy that? And then I would be like, how am I going to charge these people to get in front of my camera for 7 minutes and then I'm done with them? It's just weird. The amount of memory and footage, like and then you have to look through it. Like, how do you?
Who's going to look through 300,000 frames?
Yeah, and then how do you're like, okay, just move and like constantly look down the barrel of this lens while you're moving, while I'm trying to tell her to do something. It was weird, but it was fun for a day. And if we're just going off quality, to me, it was, I could pull frames from that thing all day long and be happy.
Do you see yourself ever getting to the point where you're not pressing a shutter button, taking one single frame?
I like the single frame. I think thoughts change in a nanosecond, and that changes the expression on somebody's face. Right. I call it micro expression. I do these things in my intensive where I show. It's like a micro expression thing where I show the expressions as the person changes, as I'm directing. I work a lot off reactions. I like reactions to where I'm coaching them towards, so that those little tiny things in the expression are what I'm going for, and that comes from a reactive spot. So, and it changes the minute. You guys all know this. When you see somebody standing in front of your camera and they look all normal, and then like if your camera's down at your waist, you're holding it, and then they look cool. And as soon as the camera comes up by your eye, you start to see them go like they get stiffer and stiffer and stiffer, and then all of a sudden they're frozen, and you're like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "What? You were normal when I had the camera down at my waist. I picked the camera up and you froze. Did you feel that?" "No." "What do you mean?" I was like, "Stop doing that." And they were like, "Just don't do that. What are you doing that for? Stop that. Just stop doing that." I tell people all day, "Stop it. Why are you doing that?"
Does it work?
It works. You just tell them to stop. Stop doing that. It
Make
works.
Self-conscious.
Just stop doing that. Why are you doing that? Then you don't do that. Humans don't do. We don't walk around stiff. Why are you looking stiff with that? Thing's a hunk of metal and glass. Stop doing that.
It is a hunk of metal of glass, and it's a nice one at that.
Yeah.
You're ready to upgrade. You were talking about, right?
Yeah.
And
when
I know
you guys had your paws on it.
We did.
Oh
right?
yeah. in Photokina in Germany. Go ahead, Adam. This is your zone.
This is you.
No, I mean the H5D feels damn good, and it's so fast and responsive. The thing that really kind of impressed me most on it was, beside like the buttons having a better layout, just everything reads better. The screen, it reads a lot better. It's bigger. It felt really good. You know, obviously it's familiar, but it just felt really good in the hand, and the focus was so fast and so accurate, which is really imperative. You know, I know that for you, and a lot of people don't even know this, that Peter does a lot of manual focusing, which is really cool because when you're shooting shallow and you're doing headshots, you can really change that focus, like, so, you know, you can really get it finely tuned. But with
I can't
with the new
focus.
True Focus 2 or whatever it is, I mean, you can set that in the camera, like, just, you know, use that button and boom, you can just point it where you want it. So
Could everybody at home see that head nod that Adam just did? I was
Chicken
like a hey.
I wasn't turtling.
The
He was
turtling.
He turtled.
I turtled a little bit. Yeah.
Every time we
Because
take pictures, like I try to get a picture of Adam, and then
He turtles.
wait, he goes like this, and he goes, and that's for all you people at home
I don't
who
do
totally
any of
hear what I just
that
did.
crap with my
Wait, hold
mouth. No. Because it's this
Give
action.
him a visual.
It's this action.
Yeah,
gotta get
you
rid
got to
of
get
this
that
action.
chin out.
Get
Yeah,
the-
the action underneath the chin. Well, I mean, it's all about the jaw. They can go to Peter Hurley Photo on YouTube and check it out.
You have that video.
It's all about the jaw. Yeah, it is all about the jaw.
It is.
It's hard to show your jaw with the scruff
It's amazing
around it,
though. But
Who,
you
me?
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
Well, it's hard to see the jawline.
But is it? It's
The
very
splendor
defined.
of the jawline is, you know, I know. It's
It
beautiful.
looks good.
It's a little tough to see with
But
all
the
that
thing is
scruff.
that most guys, particularly the minute you go to photograph them,
Yeah.
And that's Adam backing away.
Yeah.
and then
That's-
you
yeah.
got the
I'll
next action
comment. I'll be
here,
the
you got
commentator.
that
Yeah.
light going up over here. and
Yeah, not good.
So
Yeah,
Well,
you got to sort that out. And then you got to make them feel like it's
It's
okay
cool.
to
It's
do.
all right,
Yeah.
dude.
that
It's
they
all
don't
right.
feel silly
Yeah.
being like.
Well, see,
Yeah.
actually, normally, you know what I do? You know what I tell people? I have them, like, I don't mind going into flamboyant poses myself if I'm having photos taken. Sorry, while you were drinking. But, you tell guys, like, don't do this, where you look over your shoulder like the girl does and she's looking down the shoulder.
who in the right mind is doing this?
Dude, I do this. I don't care. I want to be shot like this. I'm, like, looking, like, it's slimming. Did it look, Ashley, did it look slimming?
From behind, yeah.
How does it look from behind, by the way? These jeans look good?
The chair is covering, so it looks great.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm trying. But yeah, no, it's just
Ari's shaking his head.
Ari's used to this by now.
I shake my head during every podcast.
Yeah.
And yeah, he does. And we need to get him that microphone.
So anyway, back to the
There's some
H5D.
shit.
The thing
Yeah.
feels
All right,
really
all right.
good. I think the H5D 40 with the 80 is like, I don't know, it's 18 or something. Obviously
18
Yeah.
what? 1,000?
18,000, which is
I
not.
think that's not.
that's not-
Did they give you a pricing? Did
Yep.
they say?
Yeah,
it?
they said
Really?
30,000 euros.
No,
Yes, the guy said 30,000 euros
No.
for what we were holding.
we
That must
we
have
had
been
the
a
50.
Oh,
or a
well,
60.
well,
30,000.
it was a 50 or
well,
60.
euros.
Gee, I'm sorry, guys. I don't understand my Hasselblad talk.
No, it's just mega bones. I mean, the 40. Look, the 40 is more than I'll ever need. Probably, you know. I don't think I'm.
Yeah,
gonna
I mean,
need,
I love my. I'll be honest.
you're
I love
a 22.
my 22.
Well, you
I
got
love
those
it.
big, fat, massive pixels.
I love it.
Yeah, they're just
I'm
gigantic.
happy with it.
I don't
Yeah.
even know how they fit on the screen.
Yeah,
They're so
right.
big.
Yeah, no, but I love. I mean, I love it.
wait,
I
wait,
shot the
guys.
50. They when I did the Lost job, they gave me a 50 to take out to Hawaii, and
Right.
and it shoots differently.
Yeah.
It's like the pixels are different, like the look of the files are different. And I did an exhibition with them, and it was a lot different.
A
So,
lot of portrait folks love the 22 because the pixels are so
love
giant.
the pic-
We got to
I
get
love the
them to
22.
actually give us, like, you know what, Peter? You have a connection with those guys, right?
Yeah, I'm.
Can you
yeah,
call them one day and
see
be
what I
like,
can do.
can you have them literally in the studio, bring in whatever models they have, the 30, the 50, the
You really
80.
just need one.
but no, just to play with all of them, and we'll come into the studio and we'll kick ass with it, just to
40, 50,
scratch
60.
my head and stuff.
You know, I
like
want
this.
to. I always wanted to try the tilt shift adapter.
They have
that? That seems pretty
yeah,
badass.
That thing's like $5,000.
Yeah.
I want to mess with that thing. No, I'm definitely going to get one. I mean, I'm overdue. This thing's got over. I can tell you how much.
6 million clicks.
So Peter's going to check the clicks on it, and I do actually.
But I've melted one of these. Hasselblad doesn't want me to say that probably.
Yeah, but it's possible.
But I had some. You know, I got it. I got this camera in 2007. Hasselblad gave it to me. I don't know if you knew that.
I did.
It was awesome.
That's what they do,
He told
actually.
me.
All you
Yeah.
have to do is write them a nice letter, and they give you a
Dear
Hasselblad.
Hasselblad, I am looking for a new
No,
camera.
it's you guys rock!
Well, they called
Exclamation
me.
point! Exclamation point!
Smiley face.
They called
Smiley
me
face.
and they said, what'd they say? They said, do you remember filling out a quiz online? There are 18,000 people filled it out, and we picked 4 winners, and you're one of them.
No shit.
I'm like, oh boy, this was right.
That's huge.
I just paid off my other one. I had an Imicom 132C on an H1 is what I was doing. I just paid that off, and they like hammered me, and I was like, no, it wasn't them. It was the financing company, because I financed it. It was like my first digital camera. I went nuts, and I just paid that off, and then that became backup, and this became my main thing. My battery's falling apart here because it's I can tell it's tired. My battery. Hold on, let's see. It's got 603,155 captures on it.
Wow.
That's and the thing is that that's the lens or that's the body.
Wait,
That's
did you
the
say
body.
600,000?
Yeah, that's the bottom.
He said 600,000.
But just understand, as far as I know, the number of clicks on the body is the amount of times the camera's been turned on and off. It's not how many actual. That's how many times it's been shot with.
Yeah, it's the shutter.
The shutter. Because
That's
I thought the shutter
insanity.
count was on the lens.
But this isn't the one this is not the body. The melted one.
That's
probably
what I
more.
have. That's the
when they
120.
When they took it back to Hasselblad, they told me I had more captures than anybody. The Hasselblad USA said, "Look, we only know in the Americas, North, South, and Central. You beat everybody. I don't know about the world, but they said I think you got the world."
Did you get like another award for that or?
I don't know, but my 120 macro has 233,450 captures. So these things, to me, like when people sell them on, this is going to be good for resale value for Hasselblad. People sell these things on eBay or Craigslist or whatever, and they have like 20,000 captures or something. I'm like laughing.
Right.
I'm like,
You're like, it's a
people
baby.
I was like, what are you talking about?
The camera that
Well, that's
I
how
bought.
Adam found one.
The 80 had like 1,800 captures.
It's not.
The
it's
body had
brand new.
2,000 captures, and the 120 had 7,000 captures. I think it was like brand new.
Brand new.
Yeah.
Brand new.
And
So,
people-
yeah,
people-
600
It was a
You know what's
baby.
funny though?
And
People,
this thing is a workhorse.
Yeah, it's a monster.
hey, knocking on wood, knocking on foreheads.
It really is. It's
I'll
just
tell you what. I mean, I've gone down with these things before, and I think that
you could hurt yourself.
well, they
Wow. I'm staring down the barrel of this thing, and
Yeah.
that's a big lens.
That's
does
the
everybody-
120.
does
That's
Does everybody like tether tools?
I don't know. Explain to when you get back to the
Jerk
mic. Tell us
stopper.
about Tether's
I
tools.
Like tether tools.
Are you
I
gonna
have
take
the-
a picture right now?
No. I'm just putting my tether tools cable on. I like,
You tether tool to your tether tool.
I like to, I used to go vertically when I do on occasion, and the cord would fall out, and I'd be like, "What is that all about?"
that's a
right?
pain.
Oh,
Now
right.
I got a jerk stopper on here, guys. Tether tools, jerk stopper.
I got my jerk stopper on the Hasi as
We
well.
love our jerk.
I'm the only one without a jerk stopper.
I just like saying jerk stopper. You know.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
You'd think that you'd want something like that for just getting in and out of the subway. Some guy comes up to you, jerk stopper.
Yeah, jerk stopper. I have to name these lights something catchy like that. Jerk stopper.
I know what you should name your lights.
What do you got?
FroKnowsPhoto. No, not working.
I don't know.
Not working
Isn't
for
that
you?
already taken? Doesn't somebody
It's
already
called
use
Hurley,
that?
man. It's called the Hurley. Just call it
Just
like.
keep branding the crap out of yourself.
We'll see. We'll
Just
see
keep it
what-
you.
We'll see what happens.
I know that I love the board that you've put out. I think that's freaking awesome because it makes sense, and it's so versatile.
Yeah.
I'm sure that all of us are going to want to get our hands on these things because they're going to be light, great light, portable, and portability. That's the one thing that we were trying to talk about before that I just wanted to get to really quickly,
Go ahead.
is the difference between shooting with the Hasi or camera and the Red. It comes down to workflow.
Yeah.
And like your workflow, you've got it dialed in, it. If you suddenly had to be scrubbing through hundreds or thousands of frames just to find the one, it would kill you.
Yeah, I don't have time.
And
for
you
that.
would,
Yeah,
and honestly, I think it would make you feel disconnected.
Yeah, you'd want to finish the shoot so quickly,
just
because I can't deal with the edit. I was like, I just can't. I have enough trouble looking at my images after I take them anyway, as
Right.
it is.
I want to ask you something about all these files. You've taken that many pictures. Do I see it like with a Drobo 8 bay over there?
Yeah.
Is that the only? Do you have other backups?
I have another one at my retoucher's place.
So you have both. Everything's backed
That's
up.
full though. That thing's maxed out. I'm about to buy another. I don't know what I'm going to do because you could pull them all out of there, keep them like together, and then start a new a new one, but then I
You
can't
just-
access them unless
yeah,
I pull
just
them
stack
all
another
out,
one.
stick them in. So I'm going to stack another.
Well,
one.
you can stack another Pro, or you can
Yeah.
pick up if you get a newer computer with a USB 3 or the Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
They have the what is H? That's not an H5. It's just called a 5D. A Drobo 5D. It's the same as the Drobo S. 5 bays, has an SSD drive on it, but it's uber duper spectacularly fast.
Well, it's
And
got an
newer.
SSD, so
It has the SSD
it's
in the
really
bottom of
quick.
It's got an SSD inside it.
No,
In addition to the
it-
storage,
yeah.
it's got an SSD that kind of manages the
Oh, really?
the task management.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty damn quick.
Oh, wow.
That
And
combined with
that's
Thunderbolts, like
And they have
Forget
a portable
it, yeah.
version. They have a really small one,
the
Drobo
micro.
Mini, and it takes 4 laptop hard drives,
Right.
and has an SSD in the bottom as well, a small one. They're micro SDs or something, and that's something that you can take on location with you and shoot right to a Thunderbolt or USB 3.0.
That's the way to
Pretty
go.
badass.
These are our files. This is
I'll make
like
a
the
call
most
for you.
important thing. You make the call.
Well, I'll
for me.
make that connection
I
for
need
you.
the call. I need that call.
Hey, it's on my
Yeah,
list.
I
Your
mean,
kiss is on my list.
Oh,
Oh,
you tied the whole day in together.
I did. I just connected the whole day. Nobody at home is going to get that. Peter
Nope.
doesn't get that, but that's from a different episode.
all right, there we go. I'll get it. I'll get it soon enough.
I'll explain to you when
There
we're
we
done.
go. All right, cool. Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, this has been a ton of fun. Did we forget about anything that you wanted to hit on? Because I know you got to run.
Yeah. No. I'm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I gotta run. How are we doing? How long? We're good.
We're good.
No, I think it's all great. I'm just glad that we hooked up and we've been meaning to do something, and I've been talking to you virtually for a while now. So it's
Exactly.
nice to have
It's good to
Adam in
finally
my
meet you.
studio. I've obviously been in the presence of this gentleman before. But yeah, no, it's totally cool, and just to be a part of what you got going on. I think the best thing is that we're putting good information out there. People are excited about it. When I mentioned that you were coming to the studio, like the people who know me or on my PH2 site or follow my tweets or whatever got all fired up. And I think that just shows that we got, I got a great group of people that are learning and fired up about taking better pictures. And if we can help them do that, that's what it's all about.
That is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for having us up to your studio.
Thanks for
I
coming.
enjoyed being here.
Yeah, me
I
too.
still have to get up here to get my headshot taken.
Oh my gosh, how am I gonna? Somebody said, "How am I gonna crop your hair?" Like I have to
No,
crop. I crop
can't
all
crop.
I crop.
well, it's,
I
it's
don't
a
crop.
nice. It's a nice frame.
We'll have to do this. We'll have to film it. We'll make a day of it.
We got to do it. It's got to be It's got to be a whole.
We'll
there's
put
gotta be
a whole episode together.
It needs to be the whole shebang. Is what it needs to
Wow,
be. We need to.
you went there.
Boom. And on that note, Peter, thank you very much.
Oh, thanks, man.
Boom. Adam, thank you.
Boom.
Ari, Ashley, thank you for being over there. And yes, glad we could make it up here to New York to get to Peter's studio. Thank you guys for listening. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of FroKnowsPhoto RAWtalk. I hope you enjoyed this week with Mr. Shebang himself, Peter Hurley. Check out his site. He's got some awesome stuff, great teachings. He even has a really, really cool portrait DVD for you guys to check out. So, what'd you think? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Are you enjoying RAWtalk? Well, make sure that you subscribe on iTunes so that we or you can get delivered the new episode as soon as it goes live each week. You'll get it early. You'll get it at like 12 hours before everybody else because we actually release them on Monday mornings or Monday afternoon around noon, I think is when we schedule it, and you can get it early. So it gets delivered right to your phone if you subscribe on iTunes, and you can always download the MP3 on the website. And if you are new to FroKnowsPhoto because you found me on iTunes or in the podcast sphere, you can check me out on YouTube and you can become a subscriber. I upload new videos all the time. Check out FroKnowsPhoto.com so you can see how you can access all of the different videos from the past and for the future. So there you have it, guys. Keep it real. Enjoy. Thank you for loving some RAWtalk.